What's good, voice of college football nation? It's your host, J-Rob. I'm back again with my guy, Donnie. Make sure y'all go follow him on Picks and Spreads. We got a jam-packed episode. We are going through the SEC, our full predictions and rankings ahead of this current season. It's really, ironically, Donnie, you and I were pretty close in a lot of areas in these rankings. We both did them blind. So, I did my own, he did his own, and we put our predictions together. So we really didn't have much discussions about what our thoughts were on these rankings, but we really agree in a lot. So it's going to be fun to talk about. I think we both have two particular teams in these rankings that we have high hopes for heading into this season. I probably have two. I would say I have two myself. You have two as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so but yeah, this is our full SEC breakdown. We'll be doing this for every conference, and we're doing the full Power 5. So that includes the Pac-12. Go Bobcats. Shout out to Texas State. Quick note before we get into this. Apparently, Memphis tried to make a $250 million bid to get into the Big 12, and it was denied. I actually would love Memphis in the Big 12. I think their style of offense and the way they play football would actually kind of work in that conference. Maybe you could say it's a geography thing, but I'm thinking in today's level of college football, does it really matter at this point? Not really. Geography is literally out the picture now. Look at the Big Ten. So, they put a team in Texas in the Pac-12. Like, here we are now. So, this is our new lay of the land. I wonder why they didn't take the bid. That was pretty interesting. Memphis, very good city. As for a Nike school, I don't think people know, like, most of your Nike packages are coming from Memphis. Really a rising city. You got the Grizzlies. So, there's some infrastructure there worth, the Big Ten being suited for. Donnie, you and I talked about it a bit. UNLV is a market that'll be a high suitor. Maybe the Big 12's holding out for UNLV. Who knows? Maybe a bigger market could be possible. But let's get into these rankings, Donnie. I'll throw them up, or you can start. You could throw them up, and then you can go from there. We can flip flop, our rankings, and
I'm pretty sure you have to throw them up. You're the host.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. All right, chat. Let's get into it. All right, so our first team, we'll just keep this one simple. Kentucky Wildcats. I got them finishing, I think, dead last in the conference. There's just too many better teams. Somebody has to be at the bottom, and unfortunately, I have that team being Kentucky.
I completely agree. This is a bottom feeder. I think Bob Stoops could get fired relatively soon, which sucks because I do think he's a good coach, but there's just not a lot of talent on this roster when you look at other teams. I'll just keep it sweet and simple. It's just that simple. Not a fan of the quarterback, not a fan of the offense. I think the offensive line is average at best. The defense won't do anything special. Not a great team.
Yeah, not much to say about the Wildcats. The Arkansas Razorbacks. So it's hard to rank them this low just from the standpoint of you and me are both pretty high on Taylor Green as a quarterback. I do see this being one of those years that if Arkansas doesn't figure it out, I could see Taylor Green being one of the top quarterbacks heading into a transfer portal year, because I think the talent jumps off the charts, but I don't think there's enough talent surrounding him to really compete at a high level in the SEC. Now, if they were to surprise us this year, there will be no doubt because they have one of the most talented quarterbacks in the conference. If they are able to rise from this 14th, 15th ranking that we have them at, it will be on the shoulders of Taylor Green.
Yep, I agree. Especially when, like you said, a guy that physically talented is always going to be a threat with, his arm, his legs, all this good stuff. But the problem is there's just not a lot of talent on this roster, just similar to Kentucky, except – I think the quarterback situation is a lot better. And obviously they lost their two best defensive players last year at corner. And then obviously the big one, Landon Jackson, edge rusher. He is now at the Bills. So they just lost some of their best defensive players. They didn't do a ton that really, wows me. I like Taylor Green. I agree. I think he could be a big transfer next year, but just not a lot of talent on this team, man. And unfortunately, they're just in the SEC. Someone's got to be at the bottom. And this is a team I think is going to be at the bottom.
100%. All right.
Another team at the bottom.
Mississippi State Bulldogs. I think
we'll get positive soon. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think I put them 15th twice. Two teams in dead last. The reality is this is really the same argument for Kentucky and for Arkansas. The issue is reality chat. The SEC is
tough.
It's kind of stacked this year. Now, Donnie and I have discussed this conference, and we both agree that we have predictions, but we don't really know how this thing's going to shape up. Because there's about, I would say, maybe 5 teams that legitimately could be at the top. Some of these teams are going to cannibalize each other throughout the year because of schedules. So you just don't know how this thing's going to shape out. But unfortunately, because the top dogs are so good, somebody has to really, everybody can't win. And I just think for Mississippi State, even in close games, I don't see them being on the positive side of too many close calls in the SEC. Again, I don't think this team is talented enough to compete at the highest level in the SEC. And I just don't see them out of that last to second or third last ranking.
Yeah, I mean, and they were the worst team in the SEC last year. They went 10-2 last year, and no one was really surprised. After Mike Leach passed away, God rest his soul. It's been rough. It's been rough for Mississippi State. It's been hard to find that identity. So that's why I'm really not giving them a lot of slack and pressure, I should say. They get tons of slack. This is a team that just isn't very talented. They're just looking for a new identity. I hope they can find one within the next few years. But yeah, I think another 2-10 season is very possible.
Yeah. Unless Dak Prescott's walking through that door. So
yeah, well.
All right. South Carolina Gamecocks. All right. This is where it gets a little bit funner. So I got them finishing 5th in the conference. I really do believe in this roster. I mean, offensively, they're talented. Defensively, they're talented. They got one of the best edges in the country. The reality when it comes to this team, Lenore Sellers could be called upon in New York by the end of the year. He's that talented. I'm being modest with the 5th ranking because I definitely can see them in a situation realistically where they're in a SEC championship contention by the back end of the season. I'm giving them 5th to just kind of give them a soft landing. So because of that, when I look at this squad, I'm taking them 5th, but it's moving. It's moving. It is fluid. It is a fluid 5 because I definitely think they can climb the SEC ladder. Lenore Sellers is one of my favorite quarterbacks coming up this season. I think he has a lot of juice. I think he's electric on the ground. I think as he continues to grow as a passer, he already has the arm talent. I think some of it is just stepping into some of the right throws. I don't think it has anything to do with him mechanically. I don't think he's bad mechanically. I just think also a lot of this has to do with just reps, experience, and development. Sometimes the best teacher is experience, and he almost put South Carolina into a legitimate argument for making the playoffs. They were a legitimate team to talk about on the back end of the season because there were some people out there who argued that despite them being a 3-loss football team a season ago, they're one of the best 12 teams in the country. So them building off that, I love the win against Clemson on the back end of the year. I thought that was sometimes you got to win a football game ugly. And when your best player comes to show up and finds a way to win for you, it's awesome to see. So I got them at 5.
Yeah, and like I said, we talked about before we started recording, the SEC is pretty open whenever you get to that 5 to 11 range. And we'll get to more teams like that eventually. The conference is extremely open right now, and this is a fun team, man, because you could argue they have the best athlete on offense and defense in the entire country. It's Sellers and Stewart. I mean, we're quite little. I mean, you build someone in a lab on offense, defense, again, both of them, and they're on the same team. Sellers is a lot of fun, man. He's a great runner. He's a great athlete. He's got a good arm. He's getting better, which is good to see. And Dillard Stewart, you could argue, is the best pure pass rusher in the country, and he was as a true freshman. I mean, dude, that ghost rush, that ghost move he has is disgusting for someone who's only 19 years old. So it's a lot of fun to see. The main reason I'm low on them is just because I think I just think there's a lot of questions at wide receiver. I like Nick Harbor, but I got to see more. And as of right now, I think he is a great athlete. This guy is a pure freak athlete. But similar to DK, and why I wasn't a big fan of DK coming out in 2019, the twitchiness, the agility, the flexibility. And normally that happens when you are a bigger wide receiver like Nick Harbor, like DK Metcalf. That's why, a couple of years ago when we talked about Marvin Harrison Jr. as a prospect, the reason why people loved him was because he was as big as he was, but he was twitchy.
He was so fluid, yeah.
Exactly. And guys like Nick Harbor, DK Metcalf aren't. However, Nick Harper could become that guy if he can
Mhm.
improve the jump ball skills. He can catch more consistently. All this stuff, just be a vertical threat. Because as of right now, he's the most broken guy in college football 26.
Literally.
But it's just the overall weapon talent I like. I don't love. The offensive line is going to be better, but compared to some of the other offensive lines, I have questions about. And
Mhm.
they lost some dogs on the front four. Man,
Yeah.
I mean, you lost Kyle Kennard to the NFL, and then TJ Sanders was a second round pick to the Bills. So you have Dylan Stewart, and that's great, but you're losing two. I mean, is he a better player than Kyle Kennard? Yes, but Kyle Kennard had 13 sacks last year. He was a very good player for them, and so was TJ Sanders. So
Yeah.
I'm all in on South Carolina being like a good team. Could
Yep.
it be a great team? I'm not too sure. I have questions, but they have the talent to do it. They just need to put it together with some breakouts. But I'm all in to see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I think the future is bright for the Gamecocks.
I agree.
All right, a team that you and me are both low on heading into this season, the Georgia Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs.
I mean, the reality is those Bulldogs fans might be upset with us, but to me, they have so much to prove. I don't know what this team's identity is going to be. I should not just have confidence in Gunnar Stockton. I don't believe that they've shown me that they have elite talent on the perimeter. I know people are going to argue, well, Zach Branch was the third or fourth best receiver on his team. The reason why he transferred was not that he lacked talent, but he was not better than Mekhi Lemon. He was not better than Jacoby Lane. Those receivers will be playing. Both those receivers are potentially top first through third round receivers.
First-round picks.
Both could be first-round picks. I'm gonna just be flat out. They're both legitimately first-round picks.
Could be. Yep,
at the position. But I'm gonna be slight about it and say first through third. And so I don't know what Zach Branch is going to be. I think if I'm being in the right system, could he be DeAnthony Thomas, Tavon Austin-esque? Maybe. But I don't see him as a pure wide receiver one, to be honest. I think because of his skill set, you got to get him the ball in space. But he's a phenomenal talent, and I would love to see him. Grow for the Bulldogs, but there's still a lot to be desired and still a lot to be seen. Gunnar Stockton, he has not proven enough to me to have this confidence to put them as one of the three best teams in the SEC. I think there are legitimately 4 or 5 quarterbacks who I feel are going to be better than him. And I'm going to sound like a bit of a hypocrite when we get to another team, but I will say Gunnar did go to a playoff game. He did come into a role and have to step in, was able to win football games. I'm not taking that away from him. But I just think as I look at the team overall, I think we got to stop living off of the moments that they've had. I think the SEC is a lot better in other teams. And so I have not seen enough to have the confidence to say, yeah, they're going to finish first, second, or third in the SEC. I just can't see it right now.
I agree. And I think about Zach Branch, I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day. I think Zach Branch, he shows me why Tyreek Hill is such a rare generational player.
Yeah.
Because not everybody can be Tyreek Hill. And that's what Zach Branch was hyped up to be. And he's not Tyreek Hill. He does have some separation problems. He's not the route runner of Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill should not be as good of a jump ball receiver as he is.
Yeah,
but he is, and he makes it work. I've seen him pull off catches in double traffic, and he's probably my height. It's unreal what Tyreek Hill can do, and Zach Branch hasn't lived up to that. He's been a great returner, but I agree with you. Is he going to break out as that wide receiver one? I like Noah Thomas, and I really like Oscar Delp, but Delp disappointed me last year. He was hyped up to be the next big tight end, and he was disappointing last year. I think he finished with under 400 yards, and this is the big thing, and I made a TikTok about it. The offensive line scares me, and I know that's weird to say for Georgia, and I'm not saying it's going to be it's going to be awful. No, it's Georgia. They'll make it work, but they lost every starting interior offensive lineman to the NFL. Jalen Fairchild went to the Bengals, Jared Wilson went to the Patriots, and Tate Ratledge is at the Lions. They lost every single starter. And the tackles last year weren't good. Ernest Green was awful last year, and they got a new left tackle. I just don't know how this offensive line is going to look. I don't. It's just nervous, man. They had the best interior offensive line in the country last year, and now they're bringing in guys. They're bringing in 2 freshmen to play in the interior who have little to no experience, and you're asking them to, hey, we've had some great years. The wide receivers aren't great. We don't trust our quarterback, but you guys we kind of trust. I don't know, man. They also, and I'm not going to, I know they lost a lot on defense. I'm not going to question it. It's Kirby. He'll make it work.
Yep.
But losing Michael, losing Jalen Walker, they lost one of their best corners, and they lost Malachi. It's going to be tough. The SEC is good this year, man. I just think there's 4 teams, at least 3 teams that I think are comfortably better. Maybe my one hot take team, which we'll get to soon. Maybe maybe that's pushing a little bit, but I think there's 3 teams that are comfortably better that we'll get to. I don't know if they're locked for the playoffs, man. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
Can they get in? Of course they can. It's Georgia, but it's not a lock at all.
No, it's
so
not.
I got some questions about them. Even though they got Kirby, even though they have talent, you got to put it together.
I agree. No, I agree wholeheartedly. All right.
Tennessee.
I think the Tennessee Volunteers are taking a dip in 2025, 2026. The Joey Aguilar for Nico trade, I mean, they didn't get the better side of the trade.
No.
Look, I don't have too much to say about Tennessee. Like, I think they are always going to be a middle of the pack SEC team. I think they're always going to have a 9 or 10 win season in them, but I don't really ever see them as a program being able to truly contend against what's at the top of the SEC. And I think as built right now, I can't see a world where they finish in the top 5 or top 7, excuse me. I think they're less talented this year than they were a season ago, 100%. And so I think with those factors, I don't think they have enough to compete in the SEC at a high level. They'll win some games though. Probably be bowl eligible for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think 7-5 is very fair for this team. The Joey Fanico trade obviously didn't go in their favor. They kind of did it to themselves. So
yep.
I don't really have too much remorse for them. I don't know. I mean, I like their secondary. Obviously, Jamad McCoy, you could argue, is the best cornerback in the entire country. He is coming off an ACL, and it sounds like he should start sometime in September, which is obviously good to hear. They lost 2 of their best defensive linemen in the draft. Omar Norman Lott went in the second round. James Pierce, first-round pick. So you got to replace both of those guys. I'm excited to see David Sanders, the number 1 tackle in the recruiting class, going to be a true freshman this year. He's hyped up to be, if he's anything as good as, Colorado's 5-star last year, Jordan Seaton, that's going to be great. So I'm excited to see that. But, I mean, you lost some pieces, man. You lost Squirrel. You lost your quarterback. You lost Dylan. You lost some of your best defensive players. I got some worries, man. I think they're going to be a 7-5 team, make a bowl game. They'll probably play someone like Minnesota or something like in a bowl game or something. So, I don't know. I think they're all right, but too many questions.
All right, the Missouri Tigers. We both picked them at 12. I mean, I'm not going to get too long-winded. It's a lot of the same things with the other teams at the bottom. Talented conference.
Yep. I agree. No. I mean, it's just like I agree. Yeah. I mean, I think Bo Pabilia could be a lot of fun. He had some nice flashes when he was at Penn State, but once again, just like I said earlier, I mean, they just lost so much. Like a couple years ago, this was a dominant team, and now that dominant team's just kind of faded away.
Yep.
I just think they're going to be – I don't think they're going to be as bad as like an Arkansas or Kentucky or Mississippi State. Like I think they could go 5-7, maybe sneak in 6-6, but it's not going to be pretty.
I agree. All right, so this is a big discrepancy that you and I have.
Yep.
And I like Garrett Nussmeier, and I think the issue I had with LSU is I could have ranked them for me anywhere from legitimately 1 or 2 to to where I got them at 8th.
Yeah.
My biggest concern is not what they're going to be offensively.
Yeah.
My biggest concern is what are they going to be defensively? Because for the last few seasons, it has been up to their offense to score so many points in order to win football games. And I don't want LSU to have to always be Big 12 LSU to get through the SEC. That just doesn't seem like a recipe for success. I thought a season ago they did not have a great secondary. I don't think defensively for LSU standard defense, I don't even think the interior pressure was as great as I thought it should have been. But truthfully, that secondary is what scared me the most. And because the defense is such a mystery to me heading into this upcoming season, I got them at 8th because I just feel like if LSU has to score 35 to win every game this year, they're not going to win every game this year. Yeah. I just think that is a horrible recipe in the SEC. Maybe you can get that off in the Big 12. You maybe could even get that off in the ACC. But I just don't see it happening in the SEC where you got to play Bama, you got to play Texas, you got to play my Oklahoma Sooners, you got to play Ole Miss. Like I don't see. You got to play Auburn. Like I just don't see a world where them putting out a subpar defense is going to be able to elevate this team to a playoff berth.
And that's fair. I think LSU, and maybe I just have more faith in the defense. I think they brought in some good portal additions. Patrick Payne was one of the best edge rushers in the country a couple years ago. Has a bit of a down year last year, but he gets out of a toxic Florida State situation. He's in a good culture with LSU. Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins, one of the best linebacker doers in the country. We'll see how Harold is, though, after the ACL tear. I'm excited about their secondary taking the jump. It's essentially some of the same guys, except now they have another year of experience, which is great. And, the offense is going to be dominant. I mean, they have one of the best wide receiver corps in all of SEC. Nick Anderson, Baron Brown, Aaron Anderson.
They're going to be electric.
That's an amazing receiving corps. Caden Durham was one of the most electric true freshman running backs in the country last year. The offensive line scares me because you are losing multiple starters, but in particular, your tackle duo with Emory Jones and obviously, top 5 pick Will Campbell, who's been there for years. It's going to be interesting to see how that offensive line looks. And Garrett isn't the best under pressure. So I can see a situation where LSU can go 8-4 because the offensive line does fail them. And even the defense could fail them. But I'm willing to bet on the fact that I've been told that they love these guys. They love the offensive alignment. I do believe the defense will be better. I don't think it's going to be Alabama, Georgia, or Texas good. But if it can be a top 5 defense in the SEC while being the best offense in the SEC, I think 10-2 is very possible. I think they can make the playoffs, and I'm willing to bank on that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I could dig it, but we're going to have to see, man. That defense scares me. All right, now here's my team.
There's your team.
Boomer Sooner, baby. Listen, I think this team a year ago had a good defense. I think a lot of their wins because the defense was scrappy. Brett Venables knows how to coach up some defense. I think where they lacked is they had such a staticky offense, really never got into a rhythm at all last year. But the biggest splash to me, and I'm standing on it, is they went out there and got one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the portal, and you got one of the 3 best running backs in the portal. And you could almost argue both guys were the best at each position. The upgrade this team got on the offensive side of the football is going to be absolutely electric. I know this defense is going to come to play. I really have sorry about that. I don't have no real concerns about what they're going to be offense at the level that I think they're going to be able to play offense at with the addition of John Mateer and Jaden Alt. And I want everybody to understand, a year ago, John Mateer led all of college football MT last year and just ran up his numbers. Now with more talent around him than he's ever had, with probably the best running back he's ever played with in his career, it's going to be an electric season for the Oklahoma Sooners. And so I'm putting the stake into it now because I'm so talented. Did I lag out?
You're glitching a little bit.
Don, you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I think we're good now. Yep, you're good now.
Crazy. Okay, but yeah, I think John Mateer is a player that could be in the Heisman discussion by the end of the year, and I truly believe that. He's that type of guy. He kind of gives me a little Baker Mayfield vibe sometimes. He's like a little kind of Johnny Manziel-ish too, like he's a little rogue, and what I mean by that is like not the on the legs, run around backyard, but just like he's a little erratic, but in a controlled way, if that makes sense. Like every throw that comes out of his arm is not going to look the same. The ball plate, the arm angle is not always going to look the same. is going to get Johnny Manziel fused with a little Baker magic. You know, I think he's going to have an electric season, and I'm excited. I'm pouring a lot of stock into Oklahoma this year.
Yeah, you can tell Mateo played baseball by the way he throws the football.
Literally,
you can tell he has some baseball in his background. I agree, man. And Jaden Ott is awesome. You know, he was so underrated last year because of how awful Cal's offensive line is. And Oklahoma's offensive line, it is a big question. That's why I do have him at 6 compared to you having him at 2nd, because that is my main question with them, is that I think this offensive line could be bad again. And if it is, how is the offense going to look? But I also recognize that the offense should be better. Bringing in a top 5 quarterback in the country, a top 5 running back. The wide receivers will find they're going to be healthy. I trust Venables on the defense. So it's just essentially, what's the offensive line going to look? If it's bad again, I think 8-4, 9-3, somewhere in that range. They finish around borderline top 5 in the SEC. I think that's accurate. But if the offensive line does show up, they can absolutely be in that conversation to potentially make the playoffs and get in the SEC championship. It just depends how the offensive line is. But the offense is going to be better. You said it, man. Mateo is so much fun. He's great, man. He was, out of all the quarterbacks I watched for the draft, because, you know, I do a lot of NFL draft work, Mateo was one of the most fun ones I watched. He's so electric. He's a great runner. He's got a booming arm. He just grips it and rips it in all types of varieties. So sidearm sling it. I saw a couple pitches here and there. He had an underhand throw to a running back about 8 yards downfield. I'm like, that's so unnecessary, but okay, go ahead, man. Like, you can get away with it. He's a lot of fun, man. Like, the fact that he was a 3-star recruit, someone missed there. Someone missed, but yeah, he's a lot of fun, man. I could see Oklahoma sneaking their way up in there.
No, 100%. Is my mic okay?
Your mic's doing good now. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm excited for this team. All right. Despite the quarterback being very confident, love his moxie. I think he's got a lot of juice. I love his story and everything. Love everything about him. But you got to show it to me. I get it. You beat Bama last year. Yeah, Vanderbilt, y'all have to show me. I'm not saying – I'm going to be honest. These rankings are modest because if y'all have a good year, it won't really surprise me that much. If y'all finish 6th or 7th, maybe even 5th in the SEC, wouldn't surprise me too much. But I'm not gonna sip this Kool-Aid yet. I gotta see this Kool-Aid. I gotta see it. I just can't. I can't fall in love with this possibility. Not with the Vanderbilt Commodores. It's just too hard of a pill to swallow. Now I like Diego Pavia, man. I do. I really do. But I got to see it. I gotta see it, Donnie.
I agree. And obviously, he's going to have his number 1 target back, Eli Stowers. You could argue the best tight end in college football.
Yep.
He's great, man. He's awesome. And you could argue that's the best quarterback tight end duo in the country right now. So that alone is going to win them some games. But kind of like what we said earlier, this is a tough schedule. This is a tough conference. It wouldn't shock me if they go 6-6. I view them pretty similar as Missouri, where they're going to finish somewhere around. I don't feel great about them finishing in the top half of the SEC, but you can see the vision for it. It's just at the end of the day, some teams are going to disappoint. Diego's talking a lot, and if he backs it up, shout out him. But
shout out to him. Yeah, shout out.
I don't know if I see it, man. I don't. I got some questions about this roster. Even if the quarterback and the tight end are going to make magic happen because they are that good together, I got some questions.
I got to see.
I think 5 and 7 is somewhere in that range. I think that's fair.
Yeah, same. All right, this is your team, so I'm going to let you start this one off.
This is my team. Okay, so I have been heavy in love with the Auburn Tigers during this offseason, man. I'm all in on the Tigers this year. Jackson Arnold was scapegoated, man. The Oklahoma situation, we talked about it with Matera. It was awful last year. He had the most injured wide receiver core in all of college football. At one point, they had 7 wide receivers out. You're not winning games with that. And like we said earlier, the offensive line was garbage. So you're talking about a team who had no run game. The wide receivers were and their offensive line was garbage. And the play calling wasn't good either. They fired their OC so fast because it was constant, just quick game, RPO, slants. It was disgusting. It was one of the most disgusting play calling I've ever seen. Now he's going to a situation where he has Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton, one of the best wide receiver duos in all of college football. This is arguably a top 3 offensive line in the SEC. Xavier Chaplin was a dominant tackle at Virginia who transferred in at Auburn. He's going to be playing left tackle for them. Connor Lew is a dominant center who's up there with Jake Slaughter and Logan Jones as one of the best centers in the country. Mason Murphy, another transfer they brought in who I really like. I'm all in on the run game. I think the run game is going to be great as long as that offensive line performs to my standards. Kendrick Clark is one of the most towards the edge rushers in this upcoming draft. This was a guy who was very dominant last year for the Tigers. And if he can take that Abdul Carter type of leap, the pass rush is going to be great. I like the interior defensive line too. I'm all in on the secondary. I think Kalen Lee, Jay Crawford are great. I don't have enough good things to say about this team, man. No, I get it. It's Hugh Freeze, and that's the problem. I get it. I understand. I'm buying all in, man. I'm buying all in. I think the talent on this team is great.
Yeah.
I'm going to say right now. So here we go. July 22nd, 9:12 p.m. This team is beating Georgia. This team is going to go
I would love to see
and beat Georgia. This team is talented enough to beat Georgia. This team has the defensive talent to go up against an offense like that. This team has enough firepower to go up against Kirby Smart. If Cam Coleman can take that jump, I believe he could be as good, if not better, than Ryan Williams because as a jump ball receiver, he was dominant. And even with Peyton Thorne, the last 3 games, he averaged 110 yards per game with Peyton Thorne. It's so hard to imagine Jackson Arnold is going to be worse than Peyton Thorne. It's so hard to imagine that. I'm all in on Auburn. I was high on Ole Miss last year. I picked them to win the Natty, all this stuff. I'm not saying Auburn's going to win the Natty, but this is my team this year, man. If they get into the playoffs 10-2, I'm just saying, I'm not shocked.
Listen, I want to go down that road. I gotta become a Jackson Dart believer throughout the season. I get it. There were some things around him that didn't look great, but also I gotta be honest, he didn't look great. There's just some things I saw from him that I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think this could very much be like a Bo Nix situation. Very much could be.
It could.
So we'll see. I'm definitely optimistic. I love your optimism. I'm there with you. All right. Aggies, we both got him at 10. I like Marcel Reed.
I do too. I felt bad putting them at 10. I thought that was too low.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too. I actually was like, it's
just tough.
It's a tough I think this would probably be the toughest rankings of all the rest of them. I think when it comes to doing the other ones, I think they're gonna be a lot easier because I think you and I both kind of got our clear-cut winners.
Yeah.
In those other conferences. I feel like this one feels more, and I think these are all obviously predictions, but this one felt more like a guess. Like I feel like I'm guessing, like I think with this conference, I'm guessing a little bit. Yeah. Obviously we have our opinions and feelings, but I love Casey Concepcion. I like Marcel Reed. Yeah. I think Casey Concepcion is one of the best receivers in the country. I think Texas A&M always gets good recruits. They are always able to have talented players. So I'm not going to say they lack talent. It's just, I just don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Because I think for every game that they win well, they also lose game, and I'm just like, huh? And so I do feel like A&M, I think 10 is just kind of, for me, just a safe place to put them. Like I feel like I put them there because it was safe.
I think this is going to be one of the best rushing attacks in the country this year with Marcel Reed and Le'Veon Moss. The offensive line may not have a lot of flashy names. If you're a draft guy like me and you're not looking at these guys and be like, oh, that's a guy you're taking in day 2, day 1. No, but this offensive line has one thing that's valuable in college, and that is experience. Every single starter on this offensive line, I believe, is either a senior or a redshirt junior. This offensive line is full of guys who have tons of experience. You lost in defensive talent, which sucks. Obviously, Nick Score and Shamar Stewart. Those are 2 top 50 picks that you lost, I believe. But still got some good talent on the defensive secondary. Tyron York, you could argue, is the best, not the best linebacker in the country, but easily one of the 3 best. Mm-hmm. It's hard to rank this team, man, because I think 10 is low, and I think the run game is going to be great. And if they finish in that 7, 6, 5 range, I can totally see it. It's just this is a tough conference to predict. There's a lot of good teams, and that's why we talked about Georgia potentially missing the playoffs because there is so many good teams, and they're just going to beat each other up. And one team's going to be 10th. That's probably going to be 7-5, and then I bet the team that finishes 5th is going to be like 8-4, 9-3. They're just going to beat each other up. So I'm all. It's just tough, man. It's tough, but I don't know. It's hard to rank them, man.
All right, we got 3 more to get through. I'm gonna go because these 2 are we got in the top of this thing. I'm gonna go here first.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with my Ole Miss Rebels because this is my other team right here.
This is your team.
And obviously, again, I said I'm a hypocrite because I don't believe in Gunnar Stockton. but I believe in Austin Simmons. And I know my only sample size is one drive against Georgia at home. Your first round pick quarterback goes down. The kid comes in, and this is why, Donnie, I'm all in. His first snap, they call a legitimate passing concept and tells him to make these throws like Jackson Dart is here. It is no different. There's no let up because Austin
Wayne doesn't care, man.
He doesn't care. And again, the other thing I'll say about this kid, Austin Simmons is 19 years old, and he's a college graduate. He went to Ole Miss at like 16, 17 years old. This is a naturally smart kid. This is a kid that, again, against Georgia, biggest game of his career at this point, is asked to step in, and the head coach calls a legitimate passing concept.
Yep.
And he goes down there and drives the team down for a scoring drive, like without missing a beat. I thought it was the most impressive thing. That one drive, I literally was raising an eyebrow like The Rock, like, who is that? Because for real, in my head, I'm like, what's the difference between him and Dart? If Dart hurt, just let him play. It don't seem no different. Now, there are some concerns. You know, you lost a few players on defense. You lost a few players on offense to the NFL. You lost some guys to the portal. But I believe in Lane. And I think it's time for Lane to take his jump. I'm putting them at 4th to be safe, but I hope they're one of the 12 teams. I do give them a shot to be one of the 12 teams to get into the playoffs this year. I think Ole Miss has shown that they can beat top-tier talent in the SEC over a stretch of multiple seasons now. They can't lose to Kentucky, though. They can't lose to Florida. They can't lose to the teams in the SEC that they have no business losing to, because I know they're capable of competing with the top of the conference. We've seen them do it. It's the slippage throughout the season. It's the games you had no business losing that, to me, has always been this team's Achilles heel. But I have faith in Lane. I believe in his offensive talent. Listen, if I have a son, I would love Lane to coach my kid at quarterback. They're going to be all right.
They're going to be all right.
They're going to be all right. They're going to be all right. But with all that being said, I'm high on the Rebels, and a lot of it has to do, I'm really high on the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm just worried about the things that they lost on defense. They lost every starting defensive lineman in the front four. Yeah. They lost the best linebacker in Chris Paul. They lost the best corner, Trey Amos. They lost the best receiver. They lost the running back. They lost their quarterback. Like, they lost a lot. So a lot of shoes got to get filled in, but they did make some nice additions into the portal. So I am excited about that. I just want to throw out a fun stat real quick, because I think you covered Ole Miss pretty well. I found this out while doing NFL draft research the other day. So Ole Miss had 2 first-round picks last year, right?
Yep.
They had Walter Nolan, who went 16 to the Cardinals, and then Jackson Dart went 25th to the Giants. Yes. Before that, their last first-round pick was 2017.
Oh, wow.
Evan Ingram. They did not have a first-round pick in between that. And that's just crazy to me, because Ole Miss has had some good teams.
I agree.
Interesting. I don't know. I just thought that was fascinating.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah, that is pretty interesting. I wouldn't have believed you. You know what I'm saying? When was DK and AJ Brown were not first-round picks. Oh, my God. They were second and third round picks.
Elijah Moore went pick 34.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's interesting. That's definitely interesting. All right. Let's go here first, because we got the same. Okay. So we both got the same for both. So we got Alabama finishing third.
Yep.
I got Alabama finishing third because it's Alabama.
It's Alabama.
And I still think, talent-wise, they're still one of the top teams in the nation when it comes to pure talent across the roster. They got the best offensive left tackle in the country in Caden Proctor. Yeah. The best left. He's going first round.
He's going top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I like Isaiah Horton. I'm a Ryan Williams guy. I know you got some guys that are better than him. I think he's absolutely electric.
Oh,
man.
he's still great. He's still great. He's still great.
Yeah, I think he's electric. Listen, I like Keon Sabb. I'm into their defensive line. I think Quay Rousseau is going to be all right this year for sure for them. And I think another year under his belt, I think Damani Jackson has his best year as a member of the Crimson Tide. I think he is going to be ingratiated into the system now after that transfer from USC. I expect him to have a significant step at CB1 for them this year. And to be honest, they might have one of the best duos at corner because Xavier Brown is very good as well. He was a true freshman a season ago. I think there is a lot to like about the Crimson Tide. I think Kalen DeBoer has the jitters out their system now, the first year jitters and pressure. It's over with. And honestly, for Kalen DeBoer, the worst thing happened. You lost to Vanderbilt. So that's out of your system now. You get what I'm saying? It's gone. The worst thing that could have possibly happened to you happened in year one.
It did.
It's nothing worse can happen to you this way forward unless you literally win only 4 games, 5 games. Then you'll lose your job.
Crazy. Yeah, then you're fired.
Then you're fired. But in no world we see that happening.
No.
Now, this is the wild card to this thing. I don't know if Ty Simpson is really the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I know they are projecting him to be the guy. Every story saying they're the guy. But Donnie, something in my heart is telling me he's getting a few drives. If they don't look good, is Keelan Russell or Austin Mack is trying out there at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
And there's enough talent around any of the 3 of those guys to make it work this season. There's enough talent. So I got him finishing 3rd, though. Obviously, you know why, because I'm Boomer Sooner. But 3rd, you finished 3rd in the SEC, you're getting into the playoffs this year, so it's all good.
Yep. I think Ty Simpson could have a Mac Jones year where everyone was hyping up, freshman Bryce Young. They were saying, let the kid start, number 1 quarterback. Same thing with Keelan Russell. But I think Ty Simpson, he waits his turn. He's patient. He doesn't complain. He just sits there. He doesn't transfer. He waits his turn, he gets in, and he balls out. Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton is great. They have one of the best offensive lines in the country. And the defense is unreal. I mean, that's the best secondary in the country, and that's one of the best front sevens in the country.
Yeah.
This team's going to be great, man. They're going to be dominant. I'd be stunned if they didn't make the playoffs.
The thing is, though, we're banking them at 3rd because we got some agendas to push.
We do.
But I think we both could agree they can very much be number 1, and it won't surprise me a lick.
Sure.
Yeah, it wouldn't even surprise me a lick. So if they win the SEC, those like the 3rd is because we both have other ideas this season.
Yeah,
the fans in us have other ideas.
Yeah, and then we do share the same number 1.
And then we share number 1. Go Horns, man.
Okay.
Go Horns. Listen, I know I'm Boomer Sooner at 2. But I ain't a fool when I'm going at number 1. To me, Donnie, this might be the most talented team in the SEC. Just might be. Top to bottom.
Yep.
Not just one player. I think the whole kit and caboodle. The whole thing. From the offensive line to the defensive line to the secondaries. I'm going to be honest. I'm a Michael Taft guy. I think he's good. I'm definitely a Malik Muhammad guy. You guys are not ready for CJ Baxter and what he's about to do in the SEC this year.
No, you are not.
You are not ready for what CJ Baxter is about to do to the SEC this year. Ryan Wingo's a dog. I'm gonna be honest, man. Don't be surprised. Colin Simmons got some juice too. I really do feel like he's gonna be all right this season for that Longhorns defense. But you know the biggest fish in the pond. Archie. It's all about Arch Manning and what he's going to do. There's probably not bigger shoes in college football than the one that Arch Manning has to step in this season.
Maybe not ever, dude.
Ever. Honestly, I thought the biggest shoes were Shador's because of all the pomp and circumstance. But Arches feel different because I don't think it was natty or bust for Colorado. It was
Oh
just be
no, of
good.
course not. Of course,
Yeah, it was just be good.
it was just let's make a bowl game.
Yeah, just be competitive. Fight in the Big 12. Let's see if you because they at least were able to potentially have won the Big 12 last year if they would have won some games.
Yeah.
For this team, though, it's playoffs, it's semifinals, it's national championship, it's Arch Manning in New York with the entire family in the studio. There's not bigger shoes to fill than Arch Manning. And you know what I love most about it, Donnie? This kid has been so humble about it. He wants it. He's ready for this. Like, it's the biggest and most impressive thing about this kid to me is every team in the country would give him the world. And he sat for 2 years for his moment, for Donnie to potentially be a one and done year for him.
Yep.
He might not even make it to his senior year.
Nope.
And so I'm truly impressed by Arch Manning. And I do think he was worthy of being his ranking when it came to the quarterbacks coming into his class. I think he has look, I know people don't want to hear this, but pedigree matters in sports. I do think it gives you an advantage. Look at how many kids in the NBA and the NFL are players' kids.
A lot.
Or in some level, even the kids that aren't players' kids, you ever watch the draft and they tell you, well, his dad played at this university in college and his mom was the all-time leader in points at this college. Pedigree matters. It's not even close. Like, you can see it. You see it every year. There's always a junior. Somebody. There's always somebody's nephew, son, cousin, daughter getting drafted into these leagues. So I think that has some merit to it. And look, the small sample size in his 3-0 stretch, what it did tell me, Donnie, is that all the things that you see in his toolbox that made him such a coveted prospect, they are all there. Now it's just time to put it together on the big stage.
This is the most complete team in the SEC.
Yeah,
I think that is incredibly fair. As much as we are loving on Alabama, we have questions about Ty, and as Ty could be good, he ain't this kid.
He's not this kid.
Arch Manning really could be like the Trevor Lawrence, Andrew Luck. Like, he really could be. And I know you weren't the biggest T-Law guy, but number one pick, all this hype.
Yeah.
Those two handle the pressure about.
I had Trevor Lawrence as the number one pick coming out too.
Like, ignore NFL results, just high school, college, all that prospect, just all that pressure. Yeah. Those two handled it better than almost anybody. Arch can be in that combo too. He's got the weapons. He's got the run game with Baxter. Ryan Wingo is great. Yeah. I know they lost some starters on the O-line, but I'm not too worried about it.
I am going to say this, though. I got to cut you off one quick second. I will say this, though. Andrew Luck is the greatest prospect ever at the position.
Duh.
So just be careful with the Arch. Anytime you put Arch Manning as a prospect, Andrew Luck as a prospect with anybody else, I always think that's a scary comparison. For me personally, I think he's the best prospect ever at the position. Just as a scout, if you're scouting the position, I don't even think it's close. Like, I feel like if Cam Newton didn't exist, he would have won. Like, Cam Newton probably doesn't stay an extra year in school.
No, probably not.
If Cam Newton doesn't happen.
Yeah, probably not. But it's just like, he had an NFL mind at 20. Like, yeah, it's an Arch. He really, I don't want to say, that is unfair to say Luck, but dude, he could be a number one.
Luck is just a tough, like,
he could be a number one pick. But
if you do a grader, he's 9. You're saying he could be a 99. Luck to me was a 99.
Arch Manning could be a 99.
Okay, I'm not mad at it.
He could be.
Cam Newton was a 98.
Yeah,
coming out of school.
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, that's.
If Arch is and we're gonna find out quick, man, because game one is something.
Ohio State,
the national, the defending national championship winners
that might play each other again in the playoffs.
They really might. Like this, we're gonna find out quick, and they have the talent on offense. Obviously, I think Colin Simmons is the best. I think he's the best defensive player on the planet right now in the country. I think he's great. Anthony Hill is the best linebacker in the country. Yep. Trey Moore is great. Malik Muhammad, Michael Taff. So much good, man. There's so much good about this team. I really think this is their year, man. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's time to get over the hump. They go win a natty this year.
Yep, I agree.
I think they might be my national championship pick, but we'll get down that road because we got to see how we break down these brackets and these matchups.
Yeah,
but with that being said, that was our breakdown. Thank you for rocking with us for these last hour or so. Donnie, I appreciate you always. We will see you guys next Tuesday. What conference are we doing next Tuesday?
Big Ten.
Big Ten, my favorite conference. I think that's going to be a real interesting conversation. I think there's going to be a lot of expectations for a lot of teams in that conversation next year, next week. And so we look forward to hearing from y'all. Make sure to leave a comment. Please sub up. Tell us what you want to hear. We did have one question. Shout out to Alpha Buckeye Line 2233. Best players in the country on offense and defense. Did they forget about Jeremiah Smith?
No,
well, we were talking about the SEC.
We were also talking about, I think he's referring to like the athleticism comment. Sellers and Stewart, just as athletes, not as players. As athletes,
Jeremiah might be more athletic than Nick Harbor. But Jeremiah Smith might be the most athletic receiver in the country. I'm not mad at that, Alpha Buck. I mean, Jeremiah Specs, he's a 99.
Yeah.
I thought Marvin Harrison Jr. was like the best prospect of the last like 5 years. Do you understand, Donnie? I'm going. If we're saying Arch could be a 99, Jeremiah Smith might be the best prospect at wide receiver since Moss.
Since Calvin, for me, probably.
Since Calvin, yes, actually, thank you. Since Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Randy Moss.
I think he's essentially Julio, but he didn't have the drop issue. Because Julio,
I think he's a better prospect than Julio.
I agree.
I thought Marvin was a can't miss prospect. Had him as like a 97, 98.
Yep.
It's the weird thing about it is like I thought Marvin was electric. If you put both them guys on, I'm like, I'll give me the young guy first. Yeah. I had to pick between it. He's absolutely insane. But yeah, leave those comments. Don't be afraid to talk to us in the chat. We'll definitely make sure to get to your stuff while we're chopping it up. Make sure you go check out all the other shows on the Voice of College Football Network. They cover everything. Go check out my guys over on the SEC. Shout out to my guy Bama and Teagan, also rocking on the network. Those are our personal dogs as well. But anyway, we love y'all. We appreciate it. And make sure y'all have a good rest of your Tuesday.